Now, what I remember is I mentioned seeing my body and all of that, but what I really remember is waking up and looking around and being in this white, white, white room. It was like, I don't remember a lot of furniture. I don't remember a lot of people. I just remember it was like this white sort of space. And there were six beings, three on either side of me, looking down at me. And they were really bright white light and very tall and just sort of glowing. Um, Maybe they were angels. I don't remember wings, but maybe not all angels wear their wings. I don't know. They were, and they slid their hands under me and they helped lift me up. And then I remember standing there in the room with them, and it was so incredible. It was like this amazing feeling of love. It's like everything's okay. And it's like, and they were like my family, like the family without the baggage, like with no judgment, no baggage that we all have here with family, like real family. And I was just moved. And I remember they showed me what I had come to do. I wish I could remember that perfectly. And everything happened sort of telepathically. It didn't really happen through words, but I tried to best to put it into words, and it all sort of is mixed together. But I'm going to try to make it, you know, uh, linear. Um, so they showed me what I'd come to do, and I did remember when I woke up from the coma, the one thing I was here to do was to help people find their way home, to know where they were from, and to come back and find their way to home, and to wake up, um, and and to heal. Um, and they showed me what I had done up to that point, and this isn't like judgment. This isn't like, oh, you bad. I mean, any negative feelings I felt was because of judgment of myself. It was that I felt what it felt like to be the recipient of what I was doing. And I thought about this, and it's like, these were moments when I was not acting from love, from a place of love. I just remember seeing, I remember, when you think about a past situation and you sort of remember yourself in that, and you sort of feel it and you sort of memorize what that feels like, and you sort of the images flash through your mind. It was a lot like that. But what was different was that I felt how others felt when I was with them. And I hadn't felt that on earth. The really feeling the impact of my words and my behaviors on other people. It was definitely from my perspective, but also feeling how they felt from me. I was also aware of why I was, not why, but the state of mind I was in when I was kind of, being that way. Um, Especially like my best friend. He was my closest friend then, and we had a little bit of a romantic relationship, but I would never commit to it. I was always like, doing other things, no time for you. And I especially recognized how my behavior had hurt him. You know, um, Especially remember that. Um, I don't remember a lot of them showing me a lot of things from like childhood stuff. Um, I have to sit with that, but especially with people that were more in my life at that moment, you know. Um, and then they showed me what would be possible from here on out. Sort of like, I had come for a reason, and was this going to be possible to continue? And if we did continue, it was going to mean some serious changes. Um, is it going to be possible to, I can't think of the word, like recuperate, to fix what's been done? It was kind of a knowing, you know, it was kind of like they were discussing it amongst themselves. And and I was being shown it to just sort of have my awareness to it. That's what it felt like then. I've since sort of understood a little bit more deeply that perspective, and I'll go into that. But back then, no, it didn't feel like I had much of a choice. It felt like um, they were kind of discussing, okay, do we just renege this contract? Do we just start over, or do we like send someone else in her place? Then they showed me the effect of my not coming back would have. And they showed me how everything's connected, and how the best I've been able to describe it is like looking out of a window of an airplane at night over a city, and you see all the lights of the city, and that like each of us is one of those lights, and we're all connected through the wires and through the network, and that if one light goes out, creates a power surge that affects all the lights around them, and even some lights, far away, and that if I were to choose to leave, then it creates that power surge. And then I also remember sort of trying to I think I was trying to grapple with like, okay, well, this is great over here, and so that happens over there, but and so they were sort of giving me opportunities to see also like concretely what was happening on this side. And I remember looking from the corner of my hospital room down at my body, kind of like there was the door and then the body, and then I was kind of up here in the corner. And I remember looking down and just seeing my broken body there and thinking, wow, that's a shell. Just wow. But I mostly, that didn't even matter. I mostly remember my mom. And I remember her sitting there, holding my hand. And I remember her sort of head down. And we weren't a religious family, but I just remember her sort of like in prayer or something, and just holding me and being with me, and just, and I thought, gosh. And so my parents would spend the whole time at the hospital. My brother would be left at home. And so he was probably like 16 at the time. And they showed me how this was going to impact him, and how it was going to affect his relationships from here on out, and especially with women. And that maybe he would never be, married or in a relationship with a woman again, because he would be so devastated. And it's really humbling, because, we never really realize how much we matter. I hadn't realized it. I'd said to my friend, I'm ready to go. I'm sure my parents and people will be sad, but they'll get over it. You don't get over that stuff. You don't get over it. The last thing I really remember is being in a circle of these beings, and I think there were like 12 of them. And I was sitting there, and they were all debating amongst themselves on whether I should go or stay. And I didn't feel like I had a choice in that. I felt like it was just sort of being decided for me. I did know that I understood the ramifications of both sides at that point. The next thing I know is I'm starting to come back.